Lesson 1-4 is about subtracting integers. A football team gains 3 yards on first down. On second down, they lose 8 yards. What is the total change in yards after the first 2 downs? We can first represent this with an expression. Gaining 3 yards means that they go up 3, so we can just start with a positive 3. And then on second down, they lose 8 yards. So we could just subtract 8. So let's start by looking at this on a number line. So starting from 0, we'll go 3 to the right to represent positive 3. And then from 3, we'll go 8 to the left to represent subtracting 8. Notice that you end at the difference, which is -5. So we get -5 for the answer, for the difference. Notice that this problem, written as a number line, looks a lot like an adding integers problem. We could have used the same number line and said 3 plus -8, and of course the same result, -5, would occur. So you'll notice the difference in these two problems, whether it's a subtracting or an adding problem, is just that it goes from subtracting a positive to adding a negative number. So we have a rule that can simplify that. When subtracting integers, add the opposite. So when subtracting, add the opposite. Example 2, subtract. And we're going to think about our integer rules on these problems. So we have -2 minus 3. It's a subtraction problem, so we're going to add the opposite. So we keep -2, and subtract changes to add. And this was a positive 3, so the opposite is a -3. And then we think back to our adding integers rules. We're adding the same signs, so we add 2 plus 3 is 5, and we keep the sign. Part B, we have -7 minus -8. So since it's a subtraction problem, we are going to write our -7. We're going to change subtracting to adding. We add the opposite. The opposite of -8 is positive 8. And now we've just got an adding integers problem. We're adding different signs. So we subtract. 8 minus 7 is 1. And we take the sign of the number with the greatest absolute value. 8 is further from 0 than -7. It was positive, so our answer is a positive 1. Okay, so I'm going to let you try a couple problems. Subtract. You can use your rules. If you would like to attempt these on a number line to figure them out, you could use that as well, or use it to check your answer. And then come back to this video. You might pause it for a moment and come back and check your answers. Okay, on the first problem, we have 1 minus 5. We go back to our subtracting integers rule that says to just add the opposite. So we have 1 plus, it was a positive 5, now it's a -5. Now we're adding integers with different signs. So we subtract. 5 minus 1 is 4. And the integer that is further from 0 has the greatest absolute value is -5. It was a negative, so we have a negative answer, -4. On our second problem, 9 minus -4, when subtracting integers, add the opposite. So we have 9 plus, the opposite of a -4 is +4. And now we're just adding the same signs. And this problem will look familiar to you because you've learned how to add the same signs if they're both positives in about first grade. 9 plus 4 is 13. So that problem didn't add anything new once it became an adding problem.